Hello everyone, I Kanchan Shetty. Welcome back again on this lecture of Specialized Auditing Paper 6. In the earlier session, we have discussed the purpose and types of internal audit. After that, we have understand the concept of internal control, and we have also seen the elements of internal control. Now, in today's session, we are going to learn the areas of internal audit. There are given three areas of internal audit. First is purchase, second is sales, third is cash and bank transactions. So let's understand these areas one by one. So the first area of internal audit is purchase. Friends, in a manufacturing company, material cost plays an important role in the total cost structure. Therefore, management has to pay more attention on inventory control system. Inventory control system is made of three subsystem wise: procurement control, storage control, issues control. Of these three system, procurement control, that is purchase function, is a vital or important function in any manufacturing company. In fact, material cost control process starts before material is being purchased. Internal auditor can play an important role in review of the purchase function. Usually, some matters are expected to be looked into by internal audit in his review and evaluation of the procurement function. So, in this area, matters to be looked into by auditor, these matters are given. So, the first is authorization for purchase and procurement. It is necessary that purchase procedure should be streamlined. Usually, the in charge of material department is held responsible for design and implementation of purchase procedure. Internal auditor should ensure that the responsibility of purchase of material be defined properly so as to minimize investment in the inventory and at the same time maintained an interrupted flow of production. In this connection, internal auditor is expected to review the procedures such as adequacy of approvals necessary for particular type of item and amounts in terms of quantities or values, appropriateness of forms used, etc. He should also expected to verify the procedure actually followed and to check unusual authorization in terms of types of products, quantities, sources, restrictions, etc. Second matters is vendor development. In order to ensure competitive buying, it is necessary to develop alternative source for the same raw material or component. Internal auditor can examine the process by which vendors are identified. Third matter is control at the time of receipt of raw material or component. In that, receipt function involves the process of taking the physical delivery of goods and accounting for incoming raw material. It also includes proper accounting of rejections or such other adjustment by way of debit or credit notes. Internal auditor by way of text check can verify various documents such as goods received report, inspection memo, delivery challan, invoice, debit or credit note, and ensure that the goods actually received are properly recorded. And last matter to be looked into by auditor is control at the stage of bill passing. This is the last stage in purchase function. Internal auditor can ensure that the material purchased has been properly accounted for by way of GRR. Material not as per specification is returned to the supplier and properly adjustment by way of debit or credit note is done. Before supplier's bill is paid, it is necessary to compare the invoice and the terms and conditions as per original purchase order. In particular, some points need attention, that quantity received with the quantity ordered, then price, then unit of measurement, credit terms, terms of payments, inclusions in the invoice price, and legal consideration, etc. Now, second area of internal audit is sales. The basic revenue cycle which initiate the accounting and control of sales and debtors can be illustrated in brief. Receipt of customer order, extending credit, dispatch to customer, invoice to customer, recording charges to customer, collection from customer, recording receipt from customer, receipt of customer order, etc. In these areas, proposed system can be suggested in the two terms, that is for accounting and control of sale. So the first, accounting and control of sales. In that, first point is receipt. The receipt of customer orders should be dated, segregated zone wise, approved for acceptance by responsible official, and the details recorded in the order book. Next is credit. The credit is allowable, should be within the limits prescribed and agreed to by a senior official. Next is delivery. The delivery orders and dispatch advices should be standardized, printed and pre-numbered, and the particulars recorded in the order book. Next is invoices. The invoices to be raised should be in standardized printed form with pre-printed continuous serial numbers, and their distribution should be to the accounts departments and credit control departments. The details of prices, discounts, rebates, packaging cost, freight, forwarding, insurance and taxes, etc. based on officially approved terms should be incorporated in the invoice, and these should be independently checked for accuracy. Next is credit notes. The credit notes to be issued should be printed and standardized and also authorized by a senior official within the terms of credit limits. Next is cash collection. The cash collections and the account pay received from the customer should be recorded in the bill register and the debtors ledger. And last is bill register. The bill register, debtors ledger and the control account in the general ledger should be maintained, updated and properly reconciled at periodical intervals. Now, in the area of sale, second condition is for accounting and control of debtors. The following additional measures should be adopted. So the first is verification of authority. The authorization of credits should be verified at the credit control department before the dispatches to the customers and effected. Second is cutoff procedures. The cutoff procedure should be introduced to see that all goods sold during the quarter are being accounted for in that quarter, and debits are raised in the customer accounts with a view to undertake a quarterly review of the overdue accounts. Next is checking of payments. The accounts department should check the payments received from the debtors and authorize write-off bad debts within the policies laid down. And last is review. The credit control department should make a quarterly review of the bills or invoices outstanding and request the debtor to confirm the balances outstanding against them and follow up for early settlement of outstanding bill. And next, last area of internal audit is cash and bank transactions. Internal audit program for review of cash and bank transaction can be made into two parts. One which deals with review of cash and bank receipt, and the other which deals with cash and bank disbursement. If further depends upon the size of the organization structure and duties and responsibilities of employees dealing with cash and bank transactions. However, a common audit program can be prepared as in the cash and bank receipt and in the cash and bank disbursement. The auditor should ask the following question for preparation of audit program on behalf of cash and bank receipts. So the first question is, examine the documents and accounting system is respect of receipts. Second is, what is the basis, frequency and mode of receipt in respect of sales of goods, credit, rent, sale of and interest on investment, commission, loan repayment, interest. Third is, examine the agreements or sale orders for terms and condition for receipts, mode of payment. Fourth question, auditor should ask for the preparation of audit program is, are all cash received deposited intact daily in the bank? Fifth is the DAC opened by a responsible employee? Sixth question is, are the checks crossed account pay immediately? Then next question is, are cash receipt delivered directly to the cashier? Then next is the accounting record maintained by a person other than cashier? Then is the cashier preparing separate details of the checks and cash received during the day, and it is periodically compared with the main cash book? Next question is, how the post dated checks are recorded in the books of account? Then next is, examine the bank reconciliation, and last, check the receipt with the cash book. Now, in the cash and bank disbursement, some questions are asked for preparation of audit program by the auditor. So the first is, are blank checks and drafts adequately safeguarded? Second question is there an enforced rule that blank checks are not be signed? Then what are the safeguards against the use of duplicate invoices, statements or other supporting documents? Fourth is there proper authorization and approval prior to payment, that is approval of prices, goods, invoices, etc. Fifth is there any limitations as to the authority on signing the checks? Next question is there any agreement with the bank of returning the paid checks? Next question is whether the cash discount is availed by making the payment within the stipulated time. Next question by auditor is, what is the time lag between preparation of payment voucher and dispatch of check? Next is, what is the control over transfer of funds and who is authorized to transfer from one bank account to another? Next question is, physically verify the petty cash balance in hand. Then what is the kind and amount which can be paid through petty cash? And last question is whether the petty cash payments are checked by an independent person. So here we are going to stop this session. Thank you.